Hey guys, it's Chris, Natural Progressive, and oh my gosh, I have Vegematic with me, co-hosting Monday Madness. How mad and crazy can it get? We also have
It's Chris, Natural Progressive.
oh, what the hell?
Oh my
Hold
gosh,
on.
I have Vegematic with me, co-hosting Monday Madness. How mad and crazy can it get? We also have it's Chris, Natural Progressive.
Oh, what the hell? Okay, now we got that over with.
What was that?
That was, I have another window open with YouTube so I can see the comments.
Oh, okay.
And for some reason, you can't do the volume until it starts playing, until we start the broadcast. So I can't turn off the volume.
Oh, okay, I got it.
So, yeah. Anyway, hey guys, we're here. As usual, a little late. Things always happen on my channel. It's just crazy because it's Monday Madness. Well, it's everyday madness for this person.
It's getting madder all the time.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So, hi, Vegematic.
Hello, Chris. Good to talk to you.
Good to talk to you too. How are you doing today?
I am a little nervous, a little nervous about what's going on in the world. I'm a little nervous when I see the Venezuelan embassy and the whole thing with people attacking it. And I don't know if you followed the story with Medea Benjamin and that about what's going on in the embassy in DC, but it's pretty frightening. We got the UN World Report, the climate report. You wanted to talk about that a little bit, and that's some scary shit, really.
Yeah, it is. But when I was watching the coverage, oh, by the way, Sam is here.
Oh, hello. How you doing, Sam?
I'm so excited. I got to read what he says just because it's Sam.
I can't see the chat, unfortunately. If I open this up in YouTube in a second window, do I get to see the chat then?
Yeah, well, yeah, open it up in a second window, turn off the volume, and then pop out the chat. I had to be walked through this by Osama.
Oh, well, I won't bother with that right now. You can inform me of what's going on in the chat. Because
well, let's see what.
the very first time I've appeared live on YouTube in person, even though I've been around YouTube for about 10 years now, so 6 years with Vegematic, and yeah, it's seems like it's the end of the world, and we know it, and I'm not feeling so fine tonight about things, but
it's a little depressing. It is depressing, but I've we've known this. We're not dunces. We kind of know what's going on. Okay, so Sam says, okay, I'm risking this computer dropping it in a sink full of dishwater. This would be entertaining enough to take that chance. I won't be able to join in with soapy fingers. He says, always nice to get together with you, Trent. Haven't heard much from you recently. Hope all's well. Okay, and then he's talking to Trent. So yeah.
Okay.
Trent Black is here as well.
Awesome. Hello, Trent.
Yeah, Basil's here.
Hey, here. Basil Peterson.
Zox is here.
So,
yeah. Oh, Vintage Violet is here. Can't forget.
Well, this is awesome.
I know. I love this.
This is awesome. A whole bunch of people that most of them I know. I'm not sure if I know Trent real well.
I know. He'll get to know you, and I'm sure after this he will start following your channel.
Oh, well. Then, hey, I love them already. So, yeah, I haven't been real active with my channel lately. I got kind of busy doing home renovations. I've got a 50 or 60, no, it's actually about 70-year-old house that never stops needing being fixed. So we bought it 20 years ago, and we're still fixing it. So I haven't really had time to go into my studio downstairs. And I know you're amazingly busy because you actually work full time in addition to doing this thing and setting up all these great interviews. So hats off to you for actually caring enough to do it, because honestly, people are not aware, or I think it's maybe too frightening for them to contemplate what's really going on. And it's the head in the sand thing, and even with this UN report, I don't know if that's going to change many people's behavior, and I don't think us as individuals can do all that much as long as we are living in sort of a corrupt political system, all of us, not just saying that in the States. I mean, it's the same thing here. Corporations own everything. And mostly Canada is just like America Junior in terms of like a junior corporate partner, I guess, Um, so I don't know. What did you think of the UN report? Did it? Did you, I
There was
mean, is
a
it
little
like,
bit.
oh, at last they're admitting what's going on, but
They're admitting what's going on, but at the same time, there was like, oh, it's not too late,
right?
and it kind of is, especially when I was watching this morning when it first came out. I was watching CBS, their morning program, and they were talking about it, and they're like, but it's not too late. All you have to do is make small changes in your life, like
Oh, come
walk
on,
more and bike more instead of driving your car. And
unbelievable.
I was like, are you fucking kidding me? That's
I mean,
how you're gonna. Oh, you don't have
that
to
sort of
change
that sort
much.
of thing might have made a small difference if people had started doing it 30 or 40 years ago, but we're beyond that now, and we're going to see more and more devastating weather. It's going on all over the place, and how long can these climate deniers just keep saying no? It's not happening. It's not happening. It's all I don't know, what was it, a Chinese plot or something, or
Yeah,
is I don't know,
Chinese foods.
yeah, like I mean, it's just unbelievable. They can even find scientists, so-called scientists. I mean, they put them on the payroll and say, "Oh, well, no, it's not real, and it's not being caused by humans. It's actually just a cyclic thing." And these guys have as scientists, no integrity when there's like 95% of the world's scientists or climate scientists are agreeing that basically we're screwed. So
Mhm. Yeah,
how do you convince
the majority
people?
of scientists are trying to figure out how to pull carbon out of the air to save the planet, and,
Yeah,
and they're starting to talk about geoengineering and,
yeah.
and all of that in order to make things last a little bit longer. Then there's a huge problem, and tiny little changes in your life is not going to make a damn bit of difference
No,
at
absolutely
all.
not. No, no, not when you're well, especially the current administration in the States, they're dismantled the EPA. They're just like taking any environmental regulations off, especially if they were brought in under Obama. It's just one thing after another. So you've got corrupt government in bed with corrupt fossil fuel companies, in bed with Canadian mining companies are horrible. What they're doing in South America. And it's just, you feel so helpless as an individual, and they want you to sort of, hey, look over here. Don't pay attention to that. No, no, just, we'll give you something entertaining to look at. We'll have some fun here. And yeah, Dancing with the Stars, go watch that. Don't pay any attention to
Don't you
what's
know
really going
the
on.
Green New Deal is going to save us all?
I don't think so. I don't think we're going to get there
You
for
know
one.
I'm kidding, right? That's sarcasm.
Obviously, yes, I got that. I got that. Well, it's something. It's something that would probably maybe mitigate things a little bit, but unless there's like drastic political changes, and which
Drastic cultural changes.
yeah, cultural also, yeah, and it's not just us in the West. It's China who is
Mhm.
burning tons of fossil fuel everywhere in the world. We're burning more than ever before.
Yeah, and
So
it's not going to slow down, not as long as the population keeps increasing.
no, and changing your light bulbs is not going to make much of a difference. They say, oh yeah, here I'm recycling stuff, and we all know the stuff ends up in landfills anyway. And the plastics, oh my God, the plastics
I
were just
know.
buried.
Oh my God. Okay, well, this is Monday Madness. We have to go through
Okay,
some chats, and
okay.
since you're unable to help me, gosh, funny thing is, I have to keep up on them because I can't scroll up. So once I miss them, I miss them.
Oh,
But
okay.
we had Robin Dita join us, Maggie May join us since I listed everybody. Hopefully I didn't miss anybody else. Let's see. Violet Oregon regulators have said the Jordan Cove liquefied natural gas pipeline and terminal project fall short of meeting clean water standards. Small drop in the bucket, but still good. Protesters,
Yeah.
I don't know, opposing it for years. Continued in the next line. Is Vegematic an appliance, Robin?
Yeah, I slice, dice, and chop up politicians. That's
There you
why I
go.
gave.
So yes, Robin, he is an appliance.
It is an appliance, and the reason I took the screen name Vegematic was simply because when I was a kid, I used to be fascinated by the Vegematic commercials on television, and we used to joke about it because the guy would get so excited, being, "Isn't that amazing? It chops, it dices." I don't know. I got drunk one night, and I thought, "What am I going to call my YouTube channel?" Somebody said something about a Vegematic, and I went, "Okay, that works." So I'm veg ever since now. So, you know,
It's perfect.
well, it's something, I don't know. A lot of my videos have been kind of crazy. I've been all over the place with the videos, from documentaries to mostly nutty stuff and crazy animation, and But
I love the Florida man stories because Florida people are freaking nuts.
oh yeah. Those are easy. Those videos are easy to do. You just go through the crazy news stories, and it's unbelievable some of the behavior of people. And I think it's just a symptom that people are all going completely off the rails these days. Nobody knows what to do, and I think everybody's frightened and in denial. It's
There's a
just,
lot of deniers. There's a lot
yeah.
of deniers.
Yeah, and how do you get through to those people? They're not going to listen to anybody. They don't listen to reason. And certainly, like we were discussing last night about you living in Utah and there being like mostly Trump supporters around you. And would you want to get into an argument with one of them? There's no point, right?
There
They're
isn't.
sold out to this cult,
If
right?
they
And
think Trump is brilliant,
yeah,
they will believe anything.
I know, it's amazing.
I don't know. My mother, my dad, a good portion of my family are Trump supporters. My
Oh
own
no,
family.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah. That's why this is my outlet. I get to talk to sane people here. Like
Right.
normal
So,
people.
so
Yeah.
them being supporters, do they actually not know that he's told 10,000 lies or not care? Or is it, I'm trying to get my head around why somebody could actually support this guy. And really, I think unless you're, yeah, but there aren't that many of them out there. That's what I can't figure out.
I
And
can't either. It's my own family, and I can't wrap my head around it. And I'm like, look, you know what he like? Well, I know. This is what my mom says. I know he says stupid stuff. I wish he wouldn't say some of the things he says. And I'm like, but, but it's not just that. It's horrible for the environment. Well, you can't let those eco-Nazis win. That's like socialism, and socialism is so bad. If you knew
it's
what I
terrifying.
know from way back when, socialism is terrible. And every time you try to fight for the environment, you're going to get socialism.
And the Nazis were socialists because their name said National Socialist. Yeah, I've heard that argument too. I mean, these absolutely brain dead people.
Good Lord.
They look at socialism as some kind of like even the very word, they conjure up images of like the Soviet Union and dour gray authoritarians, and they don't understand anything about the nuances between, say, a democratic socialism or social democracy, which is in a lot of European countries and has been for decades. And they panic at the very word socialism. This is the one thing that I thought Bernie made a big mistake in calling himself a socialist, because it just leaves them open for all kinds of attacks. And since most people don't really study anything about politics or have no idea other than what Fox News or whoever tells them, well, socialism, that means Venezuela. You're going to be
Right.
just like Venezuela, right?
And I've explained that to my mom. I don't know how many times, and the rest of my family is, do you have any clue, what the U.S. military is, for one? Because that is socialism.
Absolutely.
A socialistic program. What about the police? What about libraries? What about the fire department?
Getting your roads plowed in the wintertime or anything
I mean,
like that.
The education K through 12? What the hell do they have no clue what they're even talking about socialism. They're misconstruing that with some kind of communism with
Yeah, I know, it's weird, like
not the
Marxism
good communism, but the bad communism. You know what I mean?
The old Soviet Union and East Germany, places like that, they picture immediately. So I think Bernie made a mistake there, and now they're the establishment Dems just pushing Biden, and I'm going, oh no, not this again. It's like going through 2016 all over again.
I'm not doing it. I'm not jumping aboard that train this time. Nope.
No. Well, I mean, so many people were so excited and the Bernie thing back in 16, and I just don't see it happening this time. People just don't seem to be as enamored of him, and he's older, and I just have very dark thoughts about what's going to happen in 2020.
Yeah, well, I think the election is going to be irrelevant because we're going to be suffering so many other problems.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And there seems to be war drums beating right now against.
Yeah, you're going to tell me about that, but let me, in the meantime, before that, catch up on some comments.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We have someone else joined. CB jumped in, which is awesome, but I missed his comment. It scrolled up. Let's see. Mitigation, not avoidance. Yeah, there's no way we can avoid the problem now. It's whatever we do now is going to be mitigation. Zoxlick says sham wow and Jinsu. Oh gosh, I have the best. There's CB. Okay. Oh, you and Head in the Box both live. Yeah. Paul's supposed to be jumping over on my channel at 8:30. So if you see someone pop in, it's Paul. He has some words for me about Notre Dame. So
okay, yeah, well, it's amazing how much they can spend to renovate a building, but they just can't seem to come up with any money to feed people or house people or. Yeah, it's just bizarre, right?
Paul, because he's gonna want to talk to you about it.
Oh, probably. Yeah, Paul and I get along great. I've been watching Head in the Box for about a year now, and I enjoy them. I really do. Paul is the more radical one, I think, of the two of them. But that's an enjoyable show, and this is the great. This live thing is really interesting because it's just like meeting with friends, And the next time I'm live, I'll have to make sure I can read the actual chat that's going on. So
no, you just have to open a new YouTube thing, turn off the sound, and pop out the chat. It's super easy.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna try that then.
Okay. Meanwhile, while I'm reading some of these, you can be trying that.
Okay.
Okay. So we have let's see, where was I? Maggie May loves the name Vegematic.
Thank you, Maggie May.
That's awesome.
Go over and subscribe. You'll like the channel.
Yeah, and you should subscribe to Maggie May as well because Maggie May does some hysterical videos. They're really funny. You'll like them.
Okay, here I go with the comments. I'll delete it. Sound?
Just X out the sound, turn it off.
Okay. Oh, okay.
And then there's like 3 little dots above the chat thing. Make sure you have all chat, and then click on the 3 dots, and you'll be able to.
You know what? I just closed the window because it was too confusing. I had sound going in 2 different ways, and I'm going,
no. I didn't hear it.
Okay. Well, it started replaying what I had just said. So.
Well, that's because you hadn't turned it off yet. The sound.
Oh, the sound on the other video
on the video that you open up. Turn it off on that one.
Okay. Oh, here we go again.
You can do it.
I know.
Okay. Robin Data, Egyptian water sports deep in denial. Look out for the crocodile. I love Robin's sense of humor. It's crazy. Oh my gosh, no, don't disappear. Pops Chronicles.
Collapse Chronicle.
He said something and I can't. Oh, I got it. Good thing my screen is a touch screen because it doesn't have a thing. There are 2 Trump supporters listening to you giving me dirty looks. Sorry, Trump supporters. My bad. Okay. Sorry, not sorry. Let's see. Reagan plus Clinton plus Bush plus Obama equals Trump. Yeah. Basil, absolutely. Just because I don't like Trump doesn't mean I don't like Clinton. I don't Obama, freaking Reagan, all of them people, they're just evil elite people. Just evil. And they don't have any of our needs in mind. They don't care about the environment. It's all about filling their damn pockets. So yeah, it doesn't matter. One or the other.
Basil Peterson saying this will be the last election.
Yeah, it probably will be. Yeah. Let's see. What's funny is that the religious people see socialism through the window of the terrors promised them in their holy books if they sin, and politicians use that. Makes it nearly impossible. I know, because there's so many religious people. That makes it really.
But what I don't understand about these religious people is that they have no concept of what Christ is all about. It's all this right-wing sort of, I call it Franken Christianity, like Franken Christ. Because
there's a Republican God, like a
GOP. And he carries an AK-47 and
and he hates brown people.
Yeah, like where did they get this? They bastardize the whole religion and then expect everybody to follow their ways. They remind me of the Taliban. It's just a Christian Taliban that you have on the right. And churches tax them, just tax the hell out of some of these places. Some of these corrupt TV ministers and stuff. Man,
the Mormon church.
Well, you're in Utah, so of course, yeah. Don't they run the state of Utah?
Pretty much, yes, they do. They're also the most wealthy religion, even though they're not the biggest.
Well, I think they have to give a certain portion of their income to the church and all this stuff, right?
That's why they want to get more members by making people populate more. Have lots of babies so we can raise more members to give us more 10%. And meanwhile, the Republicans are like, have more babies because we need more consumers to buy all the shit that we want to sell. It's
the logic, the logic is just unbelievable. I have a Utah story. When I was hitchhiking way back in the 70s, I got stuck in Utah for I think it was 2 days by the side of the road. Nobody would give me a ride, and all these church people would be going by, and you could see them. They're kids, and they're all dressed up really nicely, and they would drive by me and look at me, and they'd bow their heads in prayer. And this kept happening. And there were, what is it? Oh, don't even look. It's a terrible sinner. No, I just wanted a ride, right? Everywhere else in the States, I got rides, no problem, eh?
Utah, they won't talk. I mean, not everybody, but if you're Mormon, you don't even associate with anybody who's not in your ward. If you don't know for sure they're LDS, you don't associate with them. Every year, when I first moved to this smaller town where they're really Mormon-y, I would have, get trick-or-treating candy for the kids, and I would watch the trick-or-treaters go from the house next to me, skip.
Whoop. Froze up.
Just skip my house. Finally, I sat in the freaking driveway with my bucket of candy for them. And said, "Hey guys, happy Halloween! Here's a treat." I love trick-or-treaters, and they just kept skipping by my house,
maybe they were afraid the candy was unholy or something. It wasn't consecrated.
If you're not in the ward, they won't. They have nothing to do with you. So, okay, do you see any of the comments still? Or let's see.
Well, every time I do something weird, okay, I can see some of them, but then the sound comes back on. I don't know why.
I don't hear it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there it goes. It starts replaying something that happened a few seconds ago, but
Oh, weird. Okay.
yeah, something weird going on. Mormons make the best government workers because of predictability. Yeah, didn't Howard Hughes hire all Mormons when he was in his crazy period there because they could be trusted?
So,
Copulate and populate. Oh, yes, of course.
yes.
Copulate, yes, copulate's fine. No, we've got enough population. We really don't need any more. I'm happy to say that my biggest accomplishment in life is that I never bred. I never reproduced, and thank
Good
God
for
for that.
you. I'm proud of you.
Well, it wasn't much.
Valhalla's here.
Oh,
So,
Valhalla. How are you, Valhalla?
yes,
I
Mormons
would
sell
be
magic
reading.
underwear, wear magic underwear.
Oh, the magic underwear. Yeah, I
It
remember
protects
that.
them.
I remember hearing about the magic underwear. I guess it makes you procreate better or something. I don't know.
And it
Uh,
protects them.
and then occasionally you get these weird guys with like 14 wives or something. Yeah, we've had some of those in Canada actually. That were arrested and yeah, you had that creepy guy Warren. Can't remember Warren Jeffs or something.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's
So
the FDLS,
oh.
FLDS church, the fundamentalists.
Oh man, religion is so like it makes people do insane things
I
that have
know.
no basis in reality. And you see some of these people, and you just think, man, like where were you when the brains were handed out? And sending money to these people, and giving part of your income to it. I don't know. I guess some people find happiness that way, but in some kind of strange, I don't know, masochistic thing or something. I don't know, but yeah, the magic underwear. That's great.
Oh, Mormons are fantastic. Did you hear Maggie May or see Maggie May fracking Christ? I love it. Okay, sorry.
Jesus didn't want us to put oil in the ground to burn oil. He wouldn't have put it there.
Yeah. Human TV and Congress. Oh, hi, human. Hi, human.
Hello,
TV
human.
and Congress are full of religious people. That's true.
Yeah. Well, Mike Pence is kind of crazy. And yet they do exactly the opposite of what Christians are supposed to do, as far as like loving each other and, giving to the poor and looking after widows and orphans. They never talk about that kind of Christianity.
No, they don't really.
Welcome the stranger. Yeah, they're doing that real well down on the southern border, right? God doesn't want any dark-skinned people here. It's just I think it's an excuse. Maybe I don't think they really believe in anything except that a lot of these politicians use it to manipulate the sheep.
I think a lot of them, unless they're really gullible, but I don't think they're that stupid. I think they're doing it for power and control. So
yeah. Same with these. If I had no morals, I'd be a TV preacher. That's what I would do because I know I could start out on YouTube and say, "Glory to God, brother! I'll send me your money for your healing," and I'd have probably 500,000 followers before you could,
What's crazy is channels like this, channels like Collapse Chronicles, really important channels that spread good words, good things like Black Bear News and all that. They don't get the subscribers or the views. I saw this morning there was a video of a fire alarm going off for an hour that got 258,000 views.
Oh, that's just weird.
A fire alarm going off.
That doesn't make any sense at all. None.
What the hell is wrong with people?
I can't understand. Well, maybe they just wanted to see, is that really all it is? And then they just clicked on it and watched it for 30 seconds.
I don't know, but God.
Yeah, I know. Well, it makes me feel kind of insecure about the Vegematic channel because I kind of go, well, if a fire bell going off can get that, I guess, there's not much hope for us little guys. But what I like
I
about it
know
is
you don't.
it's a community, right? It's a community thing. And it looks like Paul has joined us. Hello, Paul.
How are you folks doing?
Oh,
How are
yeah,
you, Paul?
time. Hey, Paul.
Hi, how are you
Finally
doing?
talk.
I just came off Head in the Box. We were having a rather somber discussion, so I need some cheering up.
Oh, don't come here.
Maybe? I don't know.
But it's nice to see both of you. Veggie, I had no idea what you looked like. Now I do.
Now you
That's because you
know.
never visited my channel, Paul.
I have, but I didn't see any videos. Hey,
Oh.
how do you want to be referred to, both of you? Is it Chris
Just Chris for me. He's veg.
Chris?
Veg is good.
and Veg? Okay.
Because my real name is Chris, so that'll just get too confusing.
Uh-oh, there was an error loading your app. Can you guys still see, or?
I can see you. I can hear you.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Whatever. I'm back.
Cool. Well, thanks for joining us.
So what were you talking about? Sorry. What are you talking about at Head in the Box tonight?
Yeah.
We were talking about Russian politics, one of Brian's specialties, and that segued into some climate, change stuff, and then that segued into what's the likeliest way we're going to go under. I still think it's going to be an economic apocalypse, but I may be wrong. The other possibilities are equally.
Well, I've heard that everything's underwater now. Like even a lot of these, even car loans, new car loans and things. That there's so many people that are underwater with them, and that they just default on it. And it's the same thing as the mortgage crisis back in 2008. That it's no limits are put on these bankers.
Right. I mean,
that's what's going to happen.
We've done nothing to protect us from the next apocalypse, economic apocalypse. Yeah, I mean, we were going to talk about the Notre Dame thing, which is something else. This started when there was a talk about on your show, I guess, about
with Osama.
Why are we spending so much to save a building when we've got the earth to repair? And of course, you're basically right. I came down on you probably a little harder than I meant to be.
You were vicious. You weren't vicious. Oh my gosh.
Sometimes
I can handle myself.
Sometimes I could be mean and in social media without realizing it. But basically, this segued into, to me, Notre Dame is extremely important. It's a world artistic masterpiece that was created over centuries of community-sponsored works. It encompasses the Gothic. It encompasses different art styles. Of course, it's important to the French sense of national psyche, and the fact that a billionaire or whatever is willing to spend X number of dollars to rebuild it. I didn't see that as necessarily anything worthy of great criticism. I think when you look at, say, Jeff Bezos, Chris, I guess my point, which I didn't quite articulate, was I think two things. One, I think the importance of art tends to be underestimated by most people, especially Americans. And I'll bore you guys with the reasons why I think art is so important. But the second thing is, Jeff Bezos is worth $148 billion. He was taxed nothing. His company, Amazon, made $11 billion last year alone.
Which is ridiculous.
They paid nothing for 2 straight years. Okay. In fact, this last year, they got a $276 million tax refund. Okay.
How do you do that?
I have no idea. Through some kind of accounting hocus pocus. But Chris and all our audience, I think this is an area we should be talking about. Jeff Bezos, even after the divorce, could spend $30 billion to end homelessness in America, just wipe it out, and still rank in the top 10 wealthiest people in the country. He could spend, I think the figure was like $40 billion, and pay off the entire student loans of 2 generations of young Americans.
I guess my problem,
You know, I mean,
I agree with everything you're saying. Okay, totally agree. Everything you're saying. My problem is people aren't taking the urgency towards the planet as they are. They're not as concerned about the planet. Both are important. Okay, well, but the planet's a little bit more important. But the urgency isn't there.
Well, I would say educate people on the corporate thefts that's going on. You know, that several $1 trillion tax cut last year. Okay, that's a heck of a lot more than is being spent in Notre Dame and on the arts. I'm sure.
What about the hole that the military?
And that's, you know, that $600 to $700 billion annual military budget. Exactly. I go on about this all the time on our show, the Reality Report. You know, that's a lot of money. So let's put ourselves in Jeff Bezos's head. Why wouldn't he do this? Why wouldn't he just forgive all the loans from our young people? Go down as one of the greatest philanthropists in history, but instead, for whatever reason, because who knows?
He wants to spend it on. He wants to spend billions on space travel. So, like, they have an expensive fireworks
So
show.
he can escape the planet that they're destroying.
Oh, maybe that's it.
They're
Yeah.
psychopaths. They're psychopaths. All those billionaires are
yes,
psychopaths.
they are. Bezos himself admitted that he had way more money that he could ever spend throughout his lifetime. He admitted that. And even after his ex-wife carved out, I guess, the $39 billion settlement, he's still so far ahead of everybody else. And he did it with a company that's stolen from the U.S. Treasury legally by these accounting voodoo practices that allows that company to avoid taxes. By the way, this is something that is shared by 40 other companies in the S&P 500. Other names, Eli Lilly, John Deere come to mind. Netflix, another one. How many of these got, I haven't done the research. How many of these also got big time tax refunds? And I mean, these are dollars that are stolen that could be used to help our environment, clean up our environment. So both the government and these wealthy sociopaths are at fault, in my opinion. They really should be targeted.
Yeah, absolutely. They should. They should. I don't know. And I don't know. We definitely got to educate people on that, but mostly about what's going on. Hey, we got hella. And I know we definitely got to educate people on that, but mostly about what's going on. Hey, we got hella.
Is that Val there? Wow, I get to know how people really look
Turn
like.
the volume off your other stream so you don't hear it.
Hi, Val, how you doing? Val there? Wow, I get to know how people really look like.
Okay, well, it was better. What happened? Okay. Hey, now it's back. What the hell? Okay.
Welcome to the Twilight Zone.
Yeah. Well, it is Monday Madness. You never know what's going to happen. Who's going to show up? And bam.
Well, it's nice to see how everybody really looks like in real life. So, and Val and Veggie are both, regulars on. See how everybody really looks like in real life. So, nice. See how Val and Veggie are both, regulars on. Everybody really.
We share a lot of viewers, which is really cool. I like that. It definitely is a community here, and Same with Collapse Chronicles. They share a lot, or he shares a lot of my viewers, and Black Bear News shares a lot, and of course Sandy. So,
Yeah, same with me. A lot of the people that are subscribed to my channel are subscribed to Humpty Dumpty Tribe and Collapse Chronicles and Paul Beckwith, and so it is a community of aware people, and I think it's just. Are you frozen? Is the image frozen, or is that just my on my end?
No,
uh,
I don't know.
No, there it goes. Okay. It seemed maybe Paul was just so still that it freaked me out because I'm always
I'm
I'm
trying to
moving around,
trying to figure out, and I apologize because I don't watch too many videos. I'm trying to remember who Collapse Chronicles is. It sounds familiar. Who runs
Sam
that?
Mitchell.
Oh, it's Hembo.
Ambo.
Okay.
Yeah, or Hembo.
Okay. Yeah, I names are all familiar. Yeah, it's funny. We run videos, and I don't watch too many of them. I'm more of a book reader, and I've got to learn to watch more of them. I read a lot of articles. We have a Facebook page, Reality Report, which people have post a lot of really interesting articles, and I end up archiving them and going through those. And I actually spend most of my time kind of keeping up through those articles. I don't, the videos I'll watch for 5-10 minutes, and then just a quirk.
I listen to him like all day. I drive.
And Brian does, I think.
Yeah. So I listen to him while I drive. What?
I binge watch YouTube. I must admit, I'll be doing something else, like working on the house or something, and I'll just let it go. I find some.
Well, I don't have a smartphone, so that's why I can't listen to it while I'm in my car. You see, I've got to be at home at my desk. That's probably would explain that.
So. If I had to do that, I probably wouldn't watch much or listen to it, because I do a lot while I'm out and about or cleaning house or cooking dinner. Or I'll bring in veg to cook dinner with me like I did last night. Okay, did that sound bad? No, I just had him on the stream while I was cooking.
Chris, if you don't mind me asking, you live in Utah.
Yes.
Are you Mormon?
No.
So okay, so they have a strong non-Mormon population. Or do you feel the long arm of the Mormons?
Yes.
I should.
I bring that up all the time. Like, the church leans heavy on our legislature, our state legislature, tells them what they can and cannot vote in.
Hey, maybe if we melted down, the Mormon church, it's gold plated and so on, maybe that.
Yeah, at least the Moroni. It's got to be worth a fortune, right?
Take over the magic underwear business. Yeah.
Well, they also own part of Coca-Cola, part of Budweiser, even though they don't drink. I've heard they own part of Marlboro.
Well, I'm not trying to hit on the Mormons,
I will.
I have something to ask you. If you're aware of the situation in D.C. at the Venezuelan embassy, and what's been going on with Code Pink and Medea Benjamin.
No, tell me.
Well, they've been in the Venezuelan embassy, Code Pink and Medea Benjamin protesting, and they've got the permission of the current Venezuelan government, Maduro people, I guess, to occupy the embassy, and they have the legal right to be there, international law, everything else. And the cops aren't going in to arrest them, but what they're doing is they have right-wing mobs surrounding all these people. And the cops are turning a blind eye to violence, and just it's like Kristallnacht.
And of course it would be effectively a siege, preventing the ingress of food and water. And
that's exactly what they're doing. They allowed some medications in, but they're not allowing food in, and the Secret Service is stopping any food deliveries, and they have this just unorganized mob surrounding the embassy and trying to drive these people out. These I guess they are really anti-communist people or something, or
Brian
white
is
supporters.
definitely afraid of these types, and he's warned us of these right-wing, armed to the teeth types. And maybe this summer, the heat tends to bring these kind of dissatisfaction out into the open. Maybe this summer is going to be a pretty nasty one.
Pretty hot summer down in the States. Yeah. Well, you might want to vacation in Canada, Paul, get away from it for a bit.
Is that where you are?
Yeah. I live in Canada.
Where in Canada again?
London, Ontario.
Oh, I've been to London. Well,
I'm
more
sorry.
accurately, I've driven through it, just stopped.
Oh, you didn't miss anything.
Yeah, that was my impression.
It's just part of the industrial wasteland, It's just part of the Rust Belt on this side of the border that surrounds Lake Erie.
Oh yes, of course. There was an auto plant that was shut
There's a
down.
massive Ford plant that closed down. There was a massive locomotive plant that GM owned that was operating for 80 years. They closed it down after they sold it to Caterpillar, and Caterpillar wanted to cut their wages in half, and the union didn't like that. So they said, well, we're just closing up shop. So there's a lot of industrial capacity here that's just been left to rot. And it's like so much in the Midwest in the US, and then there's poverty because of that,
Well, there's a lot of nasty stuff going around. You mentioned the Venezuelan thing. Then Bolton has sent a carrier over to the Persian Gulf, and
I heard that
just slammed 25% tariffs on Chinese goods, and so a lot of unrest going on. And in the meantime, the stocks finish up. I mean, it just shows you the disconnect between Wall Street, Main Street. That the people are suffering, and the wealthy and their equities and their derivatives, they're doing just fine.
The stocks actually went up again. I heard that last I looked, they were down like 400 points or something, but
no, they came bouncing back.
They came bouncing back.
Now, they're actually a little bit down, but basically,
yeah. Well, war is good for the stock market too, I guess, and I'm really concerned that there's going to be a war before 2020 because and what your
They're
president
working hard
is
to make that happen, aren't they?
what he is getting away with from a legal point of view is certainly frightening. And when he refuses to let Mueller testify and then ignoring subpoenas from the Congress, I just don't know how the Republicans are getting away with it, but they are. And watching it from
a slow coup d'etat.
Exactly. He's following the dictator's playbook, and I'm really concerned that America is certainly losing. If it had any sense of democracy, it's going fast with this nutcase and people that support him. So I find that terrifying. I mean, even as a Canadian, I'm too close for comfort as far as that goes. And then we copy everything you do that's really stupid. So we're about to elect a right-wing government in Canada, and there's an extreme right-wing.
It's a global thing, but I'm sure you guys didn't invite me on to chat politics. So feel free to. We talk about that enough on our channel. So
yeah, we try to stick to environment here. Occasionally, politics slips in because how can it not?
Right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
Val showed up, and there's Torstein.
Val,
hello, Torstein.
Join us here and say anything?
I'm sorry?
No, Val's being quiet. I think Val's microphone's muted. Valhalla.
I think so. It has a crossover it. Hey, you got the Batman fans here? There he is. Hey, guys. Oh my gosh, Anita's here too. I didn't get to say hi to Anita. God, we have the best group here. Oh my gosh. We're just missing Bio. Was Bio on your show earlier, Paul?
Bio. No, I didn't see him. I didn't notice him, no. I gave the link to Rudy. Well, I told Rudy how to look it up. I didn't have a link handy, but he was expecting to join us. RUDI. He's from Austria, I think, and I think he was coming on. But is Valhalla's microphone muted? It looks like it's got a little icon there.
It is. Okay, so Collapse Chronicles. Damn, Trump just got the single highest support rating he has ever had in any poll since he was elected. We are so fucked.
Oh man.
We deserve everything we
Why?
have coming to us.
How is this happening? Are that many people insane? I'm sorry.
Apparently, yes. Apparently, yes.
Hey,
Yeah.
it's going to be a terrible, terrible year.
Basil
I mean,
says the U.S. is an oligarchy, and it is, yeah, and Canada is too, isn't it?
oh, absolutely. I mean, we're right in there like a dirty shirt, and you know, Trudeau's a coward. He doesn't stand up to Trump. Anything Trump says, he goes, "Yeah, okay, yeah, I'm in there." So he's sort of like our Barack Obama was, you know, a real disappointment. When he got in, we sort of went, "Oh, well, we hope and change and everything," but no. It's the same right-wing crap no matter who you elect, you know.
I wanted to ask you guys, you know, I've got 1 foot stepped into the Guy McPherson camp, believing that
Oh God,
really
Sam's
isn't anything.
in the chat.
I'm sorry?
You just mentioned the bad word with Sam in the chat.
Oh, whatever. Learn to get along, guys.
It's okay.
So that Guy McPherson camp, that there isn't much we can do. And then the other foot I've got in the camp that believes there still is something to do, or at least, you know, get involved in some activism. What's your stance, folks? I mean, are you equally ambivalent on these issues, or are you just firmly in one way? I'm kind of curious because I'm about a 50-50 mix, which might have something to do with my age. I'm 59, and you know, I get a little nihilistic as you get older. You know,
I'm thinking we're done.
Yeah,
I don't know the exact timeline, but I'm thinking we're done.
Yeah.
I tend to agree that we're done, but I don't think we should stop trying.
We should do everything we can.
We should go down fighting. Because it's just simply the moral thing to do. You can't let them just have no opposition, which basically is what's happening with the corporations, and we've just got to fight with everything we've got. We've got to make our voices heard, and not everybody can do that. A lot of people are so wrapped up working 2-3 jobs.
Oh yeah, they can't even have time.
They haven't got time for activism.
Do you think there's much we can do, folks? Follow-up question on that. Do you think there's much we can do?
As individuals?
Not really.
Or collectively, you know.
We can totally change our culture. We can reduce energy. We could stop the wars. Just stopping the war, all the wars around that is a huge contributor to the population pollution and everything. We could stop the wars. That would be a huge, huge help to mitigate.
In my case, I want to reform capitalism to such a point where it no longer resembles the current system.
That would be good too. Yeah.
I'm with you there, Paul.
To me, we still run a Gilded Age version. Regulations have been rolled back. The great period during the 60s where Lyndon Johnson's Congress passed all those acts to build our social institutions, all of them have been dismantled or weakened.
The Great Society. Yeah.
The Great Society. His Congress was the most active Congress in history.
Mm-hmm.
But so, yeah, again, I do veer towards the nihilistic route a little bit. I have to admit, but you know, it really depends on our situation too. You know, how old are our kids? Do we have any kids to begin with? Obviously, if you have kids, particularly the young ones, you have grandkids. Obviously, you're going to veer more towards let's do what we can to turn this around. I do have a child, 26 years old. How old are your children, Chris, if I may ask?
All of them are in their 20s.
20s, yeah. So there's no doubt in my mind that my child will see the end, and there's a good chance I might. I believe I've got 17 years left, according to U.S. Social Security mortality tables. And I don't know.
It depends on how much fast food you eat.
Right. Well,
I think we're going to make it to retirement.
Of the actually, the mortality tables go above that, beyond that. But for me, I've designated as 17 years left.
I'm hoping I have 10. I'm hoping the world has 10, honestly. I don't know what's going to get us first, either the environment or nukes, but something's...
Or even economic collapse.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's going to start it all, because that starts the unrest.
Yes.
And the unrest will pick up.
I'm waiting for the economic collapse. When that happens, I will be so freaking happy. I'll be jumping up and down when we have an economic collapse, like a big one. I'm hoping, I'm praying that will happen.
Well, they only consider it an economic collapse if the rich people get hurt.
Right.
Otherwise, everything's just fine.
They'll take the banks with them, Veg. You see?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And it may not emanate from the U.S. It could emanate from China. And I see it really by next year, to be honest. And
if they try
I'm Nostradamus, but again, the Federal Reserve bailed us out. The global central bank.
If they try to bail them out again, we should storm Washington.
Well, I don't know if they can bail us out this next time. We have to see. I mean, this might be the big one.
I hope so. I hope you're right. I hope so.
It's funny. All roads are leading to the same terminus, aren't they? The nuclear road, the economic road, the climate road.
Yeah, it's all going down.
The social inequality road, all coming around the same time, like 4 separate trains and 4 separate tracks, all reaching the terminus at the same time.
Yep.
That's kind of interesting.
It's going to be really interesting to see if we don't just get blown up by the methane bomb before then.
I mean, guys quoting what, Levy et al. And from 2007 or whatever. In reality, nobody knows how quickly that methane will be released. Torsten probably knows more about this than we do, but we don't know. It could be. There's a lot of terrestrial methane trapped.
Yeah, there is. There's a lot
released. It's not just what's under the Arctic.
I want to answer Jilly, or talk to Jilly. Jilly says a green economy can save us. And you know what? A war is certainly death. Yes, but if we stop the war and then we go to something green, but we can't just go to a green economy. We actually have to reduce our energy use, not just change our forms of energy, but we actually have to reduce our use. So I don't think that's opinion. I thought it was an opinion, but I've heard several other stories talking about that as well. We can't continue in the lifestyle that we have, and it's not going to save us anyway. It's all baked in. So
well, who's going to want to give up their air conditioner in the summer, or their
Game Boy, or
yeah. So there's this sense of denial that is probably necessary to maintain the illusion that we can keep this going forever. And the end is coming rapidly. We're going to hit that brick wall sooner or later. Yeah, and when we do,
I mean, it takes 9 years for it to catch up, doesn't it? Something like 9 years for what's already baked in to actually be felt in the air.
Yeah, there's a 9-year delay in its effects. Yeah,
and we're burning more fossil fuels than ever.
More than ever before. That UN report was pretty telling, even though they have a little hopium put in there at the end. But we can still change it. We just have to change everything about society, culture, and the economy.
It's difficult.
We can do
It's
that.
really difficult to even contemplate convincing people to change. And we're all guilty. I mean,
Yeah, we all
every
are.
one of us is, I drive a vehicle. I'm sure Paul does. And,
But
I,
until they stop the
And we
war,
haven't been carpooling, I'm sure,
Mhm.
so,
Yeah.
we
Yeah,
could all
yeah.
carpool.
stop the war, it doesn't make a damn bit of difference what I do. If they don't stop that coal-fired plant,
Exactly. Yeah, what could the
I
individual
have to
really
drive.
do?
What?
Yeah, what can the individual really do? Isn't that Guy McPherson's stance that he
I mean,
can't?
I'll do what I can, but
Yeah.
I can't quit my job and, and stay home and, I don't know.
Or go back to living like people did in the 19th century.
grow
Well,
my
we
own-
no longer have the skills to do that. So,
But guys, the economic collapse could quickly usher us into this bit of austerity for living. I mean, it could do that if it's serious enough. If banks blow up,
What
currency.
happened to Cuba? Cuba is a perfect example of how we should be living. Because of all the sanctions and everything that happened to Cuba, they ended up living with their own resources within their own country.
Right.
And they had to go back to horse and plows to plow the fields.
Right.
They still have the 1950s cars there, and
Yep.
they are better off for it. And that's the kind of the lifestyle.
By the way, their medical system is superior to ours. Their medicine is top notch.
So if we live like Cubans, we could probably make a difference. But there's no way you're going to convince people to live like that.
You might want to title your show tonight, Live Like Cubans, Chris.
Live like Cubans. I love it.
well, Canadians love to go down to Cuba for vacations because it's at this point it's not really commercialized. And for a while there, it looked like the Cuban-American relations were improving, and they might not be the embargo anymore. And in some ways, I was glad to hear that didn't happen because
maybe that's good news.
No McDonald's, there's no Holiday Inns, and they run a profitable tourist industry on Canadians. Everybody loves going down there, and it's safe, and there is poverty, but people do manage, and there's some of the nicest people that you're ever going to meet.
A lot happier than we are.
I think so. Guys,
I think it's a fantastic point you make, Chris, because Cuba has done well under a decades-long U.S. embargo, whereas you look at a country like Haiti, which is basically unlivable. It's become an unlivable state. It's deforested. It's in Hurricane Alley. There's endemic poverty, anarchy. Haiti, but America was involved in Haiti and has been for 200 years, the last 200 years. So maybe there's a common denominator there. I mean, if America leaves a country alone, they can actually get by. My cat's planning evil things. He's bothering me. But anyway, that's an interesting point, actually. And if I may share a couple of stories, I've actually been in countries that were embargoed for decades or at least a decade. And I saw the 1950s cars and all that. One of them was the state of Burma. I went in 1985. The military was running the place. And you weren't allowed to bring in more than $200 or something like that. And they were operating in 1950s vehicles, and it was like going in a time capsule back to the early 60s. The other place was actually South Vietnam. Vietnam, when I went in 1985, which was 10 years after the Vietnam War, and of course, they were brutally embargoed, and only the Soviets were giving help at the time, and that was basically in terms of heavy industry. But yeah, it was really interesting because, like Cuba, you were going back into a time capsule. It's one of the most interesting experiences that I've been through, I must say.
Also in Cuba, they grow organic food, all organic food, because the embargo did not allow agricultural fertilizers and pesticides in the country. So as a result, they've developed quite an expertise in growing organic food. So there's ways around, I guess, economic boycotts and such. But
I mean, we
what
were
they
getting Soviet aid, but I don't think they were helping him too much in there. Let me get rid of this cat. Excuse me.
I was waiting for my dogs to start barking.
I was waiting for my cat to go. He's done that before, and I was watching Head in the Box, and my cat just goes, "I'm sure I hear the cat in here somewhere. I'm sure." He's looking all around. Yeah.
No kidding. Let's see. Okay, Pat Batman fan says, if you want to watch heartbreaking example of U.S. meddling in other cultures, watch John Pilger's documentary on Diego Garcia. It's on YouTube. I will.
The island of Diego Garcia, yeah. Mm-hmm. That, yeah, it's bring back some memories. That's near the Persian Gulf, I believe. And I forgot who controlled Diego Garcia. Anyway, yeah, certainly I'm inclined to agree with that comment.
Yeah, I've read Confessions of an Economic Hitman, John Perkins. It's classic. Yeah, and it's how the Americans just go in and basically you take all these loans for infrastructure or whatever. We're going to build a big hydro dam. We're going to build a big oil refinery. And if you refuse the loans, then they try and gently convince you. And if they aren't able to do that, they send in the jackals, which are assassination squads or people to overthrow these countries. And it's happened over and over again, particularly in Latin America. But anyway, this is getting off topic, away from sticking to the environmental thing. We keep slipping back into politics here.
And actually,
I don't want to put people to sleep.
We're running over an hour, and I have to get to work in the morning. I get up at 4:30 a.m. So
I wish.
It's been fun.
It has been.
Thanks for coming on, Paul. That was really a blast. We'll have to do it again sometime.
Yeah, it was nice meeting all of you. We didn't get to hear Val talk, but
I know.
I know, it's still there with the mic off, so yeah.
I think the British owned Diego Garcia. I seem to remember, but anyway, we need to Google that one.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, maybe you could pop in again on our Monday Madness. You know, whatever happens on Monday Madness. Just a get together of all of our peeps here. So
nothing. Well, thank you very much.
Brian couldn't join us tonight. Well, I mean, we were on briefly, but I think he would struggle with a 10 o'clock Eastern time. Being a school teacher, he's got to be up the next day. Yeah. Maybe next time. But yeah, I'd be happy to come on again. Thank you.
Oh, awesome. Thank you, Paul. Really enjoyed having you on here. And before I go, I just have to let everybody know about what I have coming up, which I'm super excited to have Paul Beckwith coming Friday. 8
this Friday?
Time. Yes, this Friday, 8 a.m. Mountain Time. I get Paul Beckwith. And then Saturday, 11 a.m. Mountain Time, Graham Elwood is coming to co-host the show. And we're going to be interviewing Jennifer Hines and Jan Wiley, who have a couple great projects that they are working on and want to talk about. So including a climate database where you can go one place and find all the climate information, all the stories, all the papers and everything in one little searchable database. So, and
before I leave, I'd like to point out we're going to have a surprise guest on Wednesday. It's going to be worth viewing.
But what time? What time?
We haven't agreed on the time yet. It's probably going to be in the afternoon or early evening. We have to accommodate the guests. So
tomorrow, early evening, surprise guest on Head in the Box.
Yes, absolutely.
I'll be there.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hey, we help each other here. This is a community. Come on.
That's right.
There's no competitiveness here. Community works better in tragic situations than competition.
Absolutely.
Well, we're all different. You know, we all have our. We're similar, but we're also different.
Yeah, we have our little niches.
Right.
So yeah, definitely. Cool. All right, guys, I'm really tired.
Okay.
Love you all.
It's nice being on with you too, Veggie.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Veg. Thank you, Val, for showing up.
Yeah, thanks
you're
for
not
calling.
talking.
Nice meeting you, Mitch, in person.
Yeah, nice. We've talked before, Paul.